Wow, I got a lot to say, but let's see how long it's going to take to say it. The first word is wow. Today is not too much. Today is not too much different than any other day, but I got to witness something today, which, as I said, is not new on here. But today was a prime example of people tripping over each other to get the next hateful word in. If this is what our society has come to, we're all in trouble. What I've witnessed today on Big Kevin's show, and every troll that you could think of was there. Nothing but hateful comments, and literally people were tripping over each other to get the next hateful comment in. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I have, of course, I've been on for a long time. But today was a prime example of people that are truly losers in every respect of that word. The jealousy that I see, and that's exactly what it is. They don't want, for some reason, maybe it reflects their own lifestyle, their own life, but they don't want to see somebody doing better than they are. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much money you have. Who got on Big Kevin's show a couple of times today, I guess it was. And I mean it. I'll say it again. They were, well, figuratively, but tripping over each other's feet to try to get some false, hateful, ridiculous, absurd comment in gearing toward me. It was a disgusting display. You know, the funny thing, I was just watching a movie called Blackout. Not a blockbuster movie, wasn't a blockbuster movie. It was called Blackout in a very small town. And for whatever reason, the lights just went out everywhere, I guess. They don't know where, if it was nationwide or what it was. But this town, how it quickly fell apart, and how turned upon neighbors. People were shooting each other. They were breaking in homes, killing people, stealing food. I don't see it being that much different than that. I really don't. I mean, incredible. Trying to destroy somebody's character when you really can't do that. Unless the person's character is as said or such, you can't destroy somebody's character by your words. They all joined in. There wasn't one person that made a supportive comment of me. But yet they watch my show all the time. All the time. And you were appalled by the nasty lies. Yeah, everything was a lie on there. Everything was a lie. I'm not honest with you. I don't know how I got involved with YouTube in this community. I really don't. I really don't. The nasty stuff they do behind people's backs, some of them are dead, and I'm glad that they are. You heard me right. I'm glad that they're dead because these are some of the troublemakers. There'll be more that die from karma to health, whatever. They will. I know who they are. I know who they'll be. But I'm going to tell you something. What I witnessed today was so horrible. These people try to think or label themselves as decent people, but that is so far from the truth. Name calling to see what sticks. Yeah. Nico calling you a shyster. How, when, and why exactly? You remember, like I say on my shows all the time, look at their lives. Look at the loser Jay is and all the crappy things he's done. Man, I could go through a whole list, but we've talked about that. Look at Big Kevin, what a loser this guy is, running off to Southeast Asia, chasing his tail and not getting a hold of his tail yet. Ricky, same thing. chasing his tail, goes on the attack of people. Of course, Don C. supposed to be a respectable businessman, but it makes me wonder if his wife knows when he gets on there what he's doing and what he's saying. It makes me really wonder. It really does. It makes me really wonder. Big E, well, you know what's going on with him. Mr. Righteous, who's quoting, oh, what was he quoting? Bible shit or whatever. And yet he has a wife and he has extramarital sex and it's okay with her. And has a baby through the woman. And they're all living together, sharing the same bed. You think they could afford to talk about me? I don't think so. Every one of them has skeletons in their closet. Every single one of them. Look at Nico. He's in love with his grass. He got his fucking face blown off. He thinks he's good looking. Well, he knows what he looks like. He has all this money or whatever. He's doing so well, but he can't fix his teeth. Get my point? Look at Barry. He ran his mouth so often. Where is he? He's in Bickerton. What about all these people, the goodly people that wanted to help Barry out to get him out of Bickerton? They haven't done shit for him. And you know what? I said in an earlier show or a comment on a show that I didn't really do a show, but I left a comment on there with a title. And all these people, okay, they wouldn't help Barry out at all. They wouldn't. Okay, I did a test. Okay, I lost train of my thought for a second here. I did a test by telling people that, yeah, the high roaders were going to help Barry out and pay all his money, over 800,000, whatever it is, just to get a reaction. And I did. And people believed me. It was the same thing. You could say whatever you want on here, and gullible people will believe you. That's how easy it is. I did that to get a reaction. And boy, I've done a lot of things through the years to get people's reaction, just to test people out, just to see who was honorable on my show or who was on my side, or just kind of testing their character. And I'll tell you what, it worked every time, because some of the people that I ousted off my show and I blocked them, the truth came out afterwards. You'd find them on another show talking shit about me. And if they really honored me on my show, they wouldn't ever. I hope he rots in there. I hope he runs his mouth in there and see what happens. I truly do. Yeah, they all float Pennywise. You got that right. Nico can't afford to talk about anybody, nevertheless me. It's jealousy and envy is all it is. Some of them could be married and they're not even in a great relationship. And they see when someone's doing fairly well with life, they got to bring up your past. Hey, my past is history. My past is past. But I made it to where I am today. I'm alive. I'm going on 71 at the end of this month. I'm still healthy, as far as I know. I made it this far. How long will they live? That's a good question. You know, karma works its ways. It does. Mother Nature's a bitch. I have my own predictions. I won't make it on here, but I have my own predictions. Look at all these. They're all screw-ups. Everyone from Brevis, Ricky, Don C., Big Kevin, Big E, S. Simulcron, Popeye. I can go through the whole fucking list. They're all screw-ups. But they want to come on here and attack people, especially me. It's never worked. I've been hearing this shit for years. It bounces off me. But when they run out of things to say, what do? They have to make something up. It's sick. I mean, it's really sick. Oh, yeah. Threats of vehicular homicide with a mobility scooter. Yeah, that was a good one from Popeye. Oh, yeah. If I go to America, Popeye's going to hunt me down. Okay. You and what army? Or the disabled people from the bingo parlor? The point I'm making is that every one of these individuals, and you guys know it as well as I do, they all got a fucked up life in some way, a fucked up history. Look at Jay. all the things he's done. Look at all the things he's done and more. He couldn't start a business, lost 3,000, right? Seizures, right? He can't get a steady woman. He has a horrible, horrible attitude toward women, that they're all hoes. And, well, that's Nico feels that way too. They got something in common at least. American Legion bingo players will hunt you down. I know, I know. I got to be careful with that, Pennywise. But I got to say something. What I heard today, and I'm being as serious as I ever been on here, what I heard today proved to me beyond any doubts whatsoever that this community is so fucked up. And these are some of these people were business people. Maybe they were respected by their own community outside of YouTube. I don't know, before they went to the Philippines. Or some of them can afford to go to the Philippines or haven't made it to here yet. They all have a common denominator. There's something missing in their life. There's something that they can't get that somebody else has, and they don't wish them well for being happy where they are. I'm one of these people that's happy where he's at. Nothing to do about money, but yes, a great relationship. That's one thing they can't destroy, that they'd love to if they could. It don't matter where I am. My love doesn't stop for my girlfriend, and vice versa. It's always there, even through death. These people are the sickest motherfuckers. I thought it was bad in the Peter Van Dever days and all that stuff. I've never seen anything like this. It wasn't as bad as Peter Van Dever. When you put a show on and it becomes a troll show on Big Kevin, who's still a fat, worthless piece of shit, chasing his tail, Thailand and Vietnam, and fails there and goes back to Thailand to go fail again. He can't get a woman unless he buys her a drink, and he's probably not even got fucked all the time that he's even been in Southeast Asia. Not one time. I don't think his mechanics work. He sounds like he's fucking retarded because of that bolo knife in his brain. The women see that, and maybe they feel sorry for him, but it's a good way to get drinks out of him. They use him like hell. All of these people are suffering on their own merits. All of them are suffering on their own merits. Mr. Ice Store, Dunce C's proclamation of the Hawaii judgment will be fulfilled by Bummer's payment to you. NFW, no fucking way. Well, I know that, you know that. But they have to say something. When they run out of insults, they just create more. They make them up. Frank did this, Frank did that, Frank did this, Frank is this, Frank is that. Well, if it makes them happy. Because it just proves to me they're not living a great life. I've said this all the way along. It's just nothing new. But it really proved to me that these people are really ill. I don't care about who has a fatter wallet than the other. Don't matter to me. They're still fucked up. And a lot of them that are in relationships, I wouldn't be surprised that there's a few of them I know, at least the spouses don't know what they're doing. If they did, then they're just as fucked up as their husband. And I've seen their chicks. I ain't seen one good-looking chick in a relationship with any one of these buffoons on here. Not one. Not one. Shit, my girlfriend's 50 years old and she looks better than all of them together. And that's a fact. Pennywise, I thought they said that Bummer does not have to pay you. And then they will take the payment. They will take the payment to pay off the Hawaiian case. Makes no sense. Oh yeah, they're just gonna take the payment. Well, the payment goes through the court first, okay? And then it's dispersed to the court for what fines and penalties he owes the court, and then it goes to me. It doesn't go in anybody else's hands. It doesn't work that way. Nobody from a civil case in Hawaii is going to take that money. Don knows that. But I told you, they all became lawyers overnight, practically. No, Bummer's going to be in there until he could pay this shit off. The high roaders are a little bit, they got slapped in the face a little bit, and I kind of helped them along. Yeah, I helped them just a little bit. They got to save face now, and they got to try to parlay the money together to actually get Barry out of there. But they want to try to find a way where the money don't go in my hands. But you see, that's not going to happen. That's the only way Barry's going to get out, and that's a fact. Hello, Hugo. Nico looks like he was beat with an ugly stick as a young. Yeah, kind of does. Well, he had this accident and all that. Well, can't blame him for that. I mean, really. But it did happen, and, oh well. Karma's a bitch, isn't it? There's not one of these people, the pillars of the YouTube community, as they try to portray themselves, that doesn't have many skeletons in their closets, and a lot of them are very public. We know what the guy with the big wallet does with his wife and everybody, and he uses his wallet to get the attention. We know what Big Kevin does to get attention, to get money, and he has money. He doesn't need your money. People just get sucked into this vortex. They believe everybody on here. But as dumb shit as Kevin is and brain dead, he's smart enough to know how to make money and have people send him money and donations when he really don't need it. And meanwhile, he gets off YouTube afterwards and he's saying, I got them today. How much did I make today off these suckers? It's funny. He's smart enough to do that. Everybody on YouTube is a system expert on all matters. Oh, they sure are. Get lawyers, professors, you name it. They're just jealous that I have a kind of a broad knowledge of a lot of different things that they will never have. And those that are not anywhere near my age, I don't think these particular people are going to live that long. I know what they're like. A lot of them are obese and they are unhealthy and they're on a lot of meds. They are. But this display today, both Kevin shows, every troll and their grandmother jumped on that show. And really, I'll use that expression again. They were stepping over each other just to leave a bad comment. You'd think I was Billy the Kid or something, or I was this internationally wanted criminal or something, the way they attack me. When there's really nothing that's ever been done by me that would even warrant such an attitude. But again, this is YouTube. And you got to look at their lives first. And that's where you get all your answers. What's going on in their life? That's the question. Yeah, Big Wallet has personality. He's got personality, all right. How much has Big Cabin eaten on Don C and Captain Billy Jack's dime? That's what he does. Oh yeah, come down to see me. I'll guarantee you he's never paid for anybody's meal. I'll guarantee you it. Guarantee you it. These people know how to suck off the tits of society. That's all they do. Bummer did it all his life. Big Kevin's done it ever since he's ever been on YouTube. Ever since. Nothing's changed. And he's pretending that he needs the money. He goes out and buys fancy microphones and all kinds of toys. The guy's like, 62 years old. And he's out buying toys. And he's chasing his fat ass with all the melted skin from losing some of his weight. But that'll never go away unless he has surgery, unless he does some extraordinary workouts and builds up muscle tone. But he's never going to lose that droopy layers of fat. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Mr. Ice Store, Discord exposed Kevin and Turtle Man, and as the troll sending Kevin all the altered photos of you, they exposed Kevin and Kevin Turtle Man. Oh yeah, another crazy motherfucker, man. Go slop your pigs, Turtle Man. Hugo says, shameful to watch grown men in that chat room on Fat Kev. They're all the ultimate keyboard warriors. Well, they think they are anyway. Well, they are. Keyboard warriors, you'd be correct in it. Pennywise says, Big Cabin should be visiting his kids in Australia. You think, right? Instead of buying drinks for bar girls in Pattaya. I know, and they make comments about me, but what's really going on with me? I'm just living my life in the Philippines. Fantastic relationship, fantastic Filipino family. I got a house, they call it a shack, but far from a shack. Far from a shack. It's jealousy, it's envy, green-eyed monsters. That's all it is. Of course, they're going to say different. Why are we jealous of you? No, I think Nico was making that statement. Why should he be jealous of me, or nobody's jealous of me? Well, if you had a face like Nico, got blown up by an IED, well, okay, does that answer your question? Yeah. They'll get what's coming to them. It usually happens, man. It's happened consistently on YouTube. Look how many YouTubers kick the bucket, man. A lot of them. Frank, your Bentine house is bigger than Nico's house in Florida. Yes, it is. I know. But Nico talks, Look, Nico has to do something, okay? He's got to compensate for his inner and outer ugliness. The fact is, when have you really seen Nico on here with a girlfriend? I'm not talking about Maria. Shit, that wasn't his girlfriend. When have you ever seen him with a real, live, bushy pussy girlfriend? You haven't seen him with that because he's never had one. This guy gets so low that he talks about family. The fact that I have family members that have expired. That happens. That happens. But they make fun of shit like that. But Jay, Jay, who's now trying to kiss the ass of everybody, and the same people who are always attacking him. Isn't that a blast? Same people that were always attacking him. He wants to join the big boys club. It was these very same people who were making fun of Jay's father's death. It was the very same people. See, when you're defeated, it's like you feel that you have to give in. I never gave in to anyone. Pardon me. I had to drink some lemon water. It's funny how that happens, The enemy, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. That's one of the things. But they think it's all part of an exclusive club. But it's really a club of total losers. Yeah, I know my house is bigger than Popeye's daughter's in Florida. I've seen a picture of his house. I definitely have. I have a picture of his house, actually. And he's living a better life than I am. He doesn't go anywhere often. In fact, he's the one that's actually afraid to leave the house. And you remember those times in the past when somebody was hunting him down. He didn't come on YouTube for a long time. Nothing wrong with my memory on that. Nothing wrong with my memory on that at all. Well, you're never going to, satiate the hunger for hate that these people have. It got so carried away with them, they went on a roll. It's kind of like someone who develops, I don't know, let's say someone who pretends to have a coughing problem, but then your reflexes go into a wild, it happens, it goes into a very unusual stage where you can't stop either hiccuping or coughing or something. It's involuntary. It starts off as voluntary, then it becomes involuntary. They get to a point to a fervor, where they're just dancing around a fire and fueling up the fire by like actual trolls and dancing around the flames. And this is why their relationships don't last. That's why their life is so out of control. That people sometimes get the woman by their wallet, but then these Filipinos get them by the balls. Then they give in. Okay, let's settle this amicably. And they have to give in to the Filipina. And all's fine again. Hello, howdy, folks. Hugo, ego knocking up Honeyco. Can you imagine that, man? Caused him some major problems. It must have cost him a house and several lots to the wife's family to smooth that one out. Well, I don't know. Guess you'll have to ask him. Pennywise says, Frank, your dog is even bigger than Popeye's dog. Frank is winning. Guys, I've won ever since I've been on YouTube. There wasn't a battle that I did not win on here. If you want to call them battles, call it what you wish. It's fine with me. Label it what you wish. For 10 years. For 10 fucking years. I never ran off YouTube with my tail between my legs. If I go off YouTube, it's voluntary. In fact, this could be my last show, actually. Gilda's been hounding me about this for a long time. And she didn't hear all of it, but she heard enough. She heard Big Kevin's show today, the second one, not the first one. She couldn't believe it herself how hateful these people were. And she couldn't believe that some of these people actually have a family and children. And that this was their behavior and their demeanor. She couldn't make it out. She didn't understand it at all because she's not like these people. Her family's not like that. And it kind of makes her have a little bit bitter feeling about foreigners. And we've talked about this before. And that's why I don't bother with foreigners out here for a reason. I said that for years. You can't make friendships with foreigners out here. It's not the Filipinos that are the problem. It's the foreigners, man. Every one of these people are a fucking loser. They proved it so many times for what they say, whether they're on camera or not, it don't matter. Every one of them has more faults than any kind of ridiculous, unfounded, blabber allegations they can make against anybody else on here. Look at their life, how fucked up it is. And I don't care how much money they have. Money doesn't solve all their problems. And if they could spend that kind of time, they could talk about anything on Big Kevin's show, for example. Good example. Don loves to come on their live, and the first thing he talks about is me. But I'll tell you what, put the age and all the bullshit out the window, okay? None of these people will approach anybody. They won't even approach each other. Nevertheless, me. Keyboard warriors, you'd be correct. This is what they do. They don't want to get in trouble with the law or possibly get hurt or killed. They don't want to do that. So they run their mouth. That's what they do. Let's see. Pennywise says, you really think Big Ego left the Philippines for the good of his family? His move to Vietnam is a preemptive, so no concubineship charges can be filed on him. Big E's a reasonably intelligent guy, and to some degree. To some degree. Okay. But he's stupid in other ways. Some of the shows he put out on me, which I recorded them all. He wants to play around with me. I could play back at this point. He knows it. He knows it very well. He knows who I am. He knows what I can do. Even his big wallet can't solve all problems. You're either wrong or you're right. That's all it is. I've recorded all his shows. Even his wife was in there playing along with it too. She's just as guilty as he is. And you know the only reason these women stick with these guys is because they're fucking money. Like I said, my girlfriend has more money than I'll ever see in my life. She don't have to be with me if she didn't want to be with me. She certainly don't. They call my house a shack. Well, people have seen my house, thought it was pretty nice, and I think it's pretty nice. They make up all this crap about my past that has one no. The only thing they're ever correct about is I had a couple of bankruptcies. That was a privilege of living in America. It's called regrouping. They give you an opportunity to do that. Not all countries allow you to do that. Something came up that happened. I made my mistakes. Definitely paid for it on those mistakes. And got on my feet. 3 houses and 3 lots later, here I am. I think I'm quite a success story, actually, compared to these losers. I mean, look at the losers Big Kevin's got in his show. You got that long-haired bum that lives in his car, Philip Janik. Christ. All these hillbillies, you got that fucker living in Baguio. Every one of these people is a fucking loser. Yeah, it's all about the money. You got that right. You know what gets me? There's some YouTubers out there that might have a couple of bucks, but you got the ugliest fucking women. And I'm thinking, and no names on here because it actually applies to numerous people actually in the YouTube community. Maybe some you're not familiar with, but some you might be. But with all their money, they got the ugliest fucking women. Ugliest fucking women. With all that money, you'd think that you could get with like guys that have maybe 1/16 of what they have, get nice looking women. I've not seen one woman on any one of these characters on YouTube that has a good looking wife. I've not seen it yet. I'd tell you if I did, no matter what I think about the guy himself. I've not seen one person, and with all their money, they can't find some really good looking chick. Isn't that amazing? Goes to show you. Apple, meh, she was so-so. But she was better looking than the wives and girlfriends of some of these YouTubers out here in the Philippines genre. Absolutely better. But then again, Ricky's a loser himself. They all got psychological problems. And they're trying to point out people's fault, but then they just don't want to put that mirror in front of themselves. There's a lot to see. Yeah, I think it's time that I just exit out of this community. Really, I think it is. Before I wind up killing somebody or something. But I wouldn't do that. Well, if they think I'm crazy, then they better worry about me. Then maybe they got something to worry about if they think I'm crazy. No, I'll show them crazy when I have to show them crazy, believe me. We all got crazy in us, and I've got extra crazy. Believe me, the moment is right, whatever the situation might be, the right situation, they'll see how crazy I really am. I'll give them a little taste of my so-called crazy. Absolutely. Go postal? Nah, they got to go postal on me before I do that. I was listening to, I don't usually listen to him. What's that guy's name that Ricky don't like anybody? The one that calls all the girls baby-roonies, and he's always at odds with Ricky, I think. I know his name, but I don't go to his show hardly ever at all. And this guy was talking about that he's the kind of guy that he will find where you live, if you really fucked with him, will find where you live, go to your front door. I understand what he said. Regular guy, that's him. I heard his last broadcast. I think that was his last one. Well, it was one of them recently. And I don't listen to the guy, but I happen to have him on my list. And he said it himself. I mean, I don't like the guy either. He calls girls baby-roonies, and anybody who calls this lack of respect for women, period. He's not a respectful guy to women. I understand that. And none of these guys really are, if you think about what they've done to him. Nico calling women's hoes. Because you see, the psychology with all this is if you can't get a woman, you're going to be against them. They're only good for this, and they're only good for that, and they're only good for this. That's because they can't get a woman, no matter how hard they try. And sometimes they try to pay for the dates, not even successful doing that. Yeah, regular guy. Yeah. And he says himself that he's crazy. He says, you really fuck with him enough that he'll go to your front door. He'll find out where you are, and he'll take care of business. I think that guy would. I think that guy would. And I don't know much about him, but I've seen a few of his shows. And I think he's crazy enough to do that. That's why Popeye and all these people, they don't know who they're fucking with. They really don't. They go by your size. They go by your age. Wrong. 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 It's what the person can do. And I'm not talking about martial arts. I'm not talking about anything like that. Nothing like that. It's how calculating a person could be. It's what they could do on the side. It's what they can plan. They know that. They know that. Big E knows I talked to his employer years ago. Talked to Pinoy Troll. He knows that too. I went to his employer. When the chips are down, I get ugly. I get fucking ugly. And I can get fugly ugly if I really wanted to. Abbo wants no part of a SNR meetup, which he ain't going to meet. Shit, look, I've been on here long enough. I've seen skirmishes he's got into online with people, and he never met up with any one of them. Not one of them. He's got an open invitation, but he's afraid to talk about it. 2 Kevin shows went by. He did not want to mention it at all. He did not mention my challenge, my open invitation to him. He did not want to mention that at all. Did you notice that? He's a loser living with his mom. If he had this fucking money, why is he still working? Why is he still working digging ditches? Why is he living with his mommy? Why does he punch a dildo in his shower? Do you remember when he cried on his show? When all the trolls were attacking him, he was having a breakdown. This is for real. You all know. If you've been listening for a long time, you know I'm not telling any bullshit here. Why don't you just leave me alone? Leave me alone. I can't take it anymore. Am I telling a lie? Go ahead, tell me. Am I lying? Jay has a breaking point. He has a real bad... He cannot take criticism at all. He cannot take... That's when you see him calm, and all of a sudden he starts yelling the top of his voice, and he gets violent. That's the turning point with him. When he can't take truth anymore, or people start attacking him, he falls apart, dudes. He falls apart. Yeah, he said he ran Andy Omar off. I'm not sure who ran. I don't know what's happening with Andy. I have no idea. I used to listen to Andy now and then, but crazy motherfucker too. But somebody ran him off. And what's going on with Tim K? That's right. No, he moved back to the States. That's right. He's with Chrissy in the States now. That's right. Yeah. How long do you think that's going to last? The guy's pretty extreme. He's like overwhelming for Chrissy. And Chrissy, a wonderful gal she actually is, she tries to do her best to kind of keep him under control and his drinking and his smart-ass attitude and all that stuff. I just don't see that's going to last. I want you to mark my words today, tonight. Mark my words and see in the future if that happens. I predict that John Blaze is not having a great time. He said he stopped working. His wife now, whatever she is, made all these Filipino friends over in the States, in Montana, where he's living now. And he's overwhelmed with nothing to do. And she made so many friends. Now he doesn't know what to do with himself. And I told you, you bring a chick to America, you made the biggest mistake in your life. That's why you wanted a Filipino. You wanted the simplicity. You wanted a decent little province girl. You don't want some complicated, smart-ass bitch that they'll turn into when they get to America and they become a Karen. Then they're going to want to take all your money away, or they're just going to leave you. They got their ticket over there, the prize they wanted, now they want out. They get the green card, they get everything else, they get themselves situated with a job. After a while, they leave the guy. Well, there was some rumor going around about that. Tim K is a natural troublemaker. He just gets himself into trouble all the time because, well, it's one of his, some of the same attitudes that's actually going on YouTube. They think they're bigger and badder than everybody else. A lot of them have money that have that attitude. They figure that their money is a solve-all. And it's not. There's people with a lot of money that get themselves into situations they just can't get themselves out. That's a fact. And how people turn on each other, either supporting Barry or they're not supporting Barry, and everybody kicked mud in his face. That's what happened. That's what they did. Hey, don't get me wrong, I don't mind. If anybody deserves it, Barry does. But the high roaders got kind of in a situation. They want to save face, but they, at the same time, they're still scratching their heads. Should I help Barry out or not? What is it going to do for them, is what they're thinking. But then Frank gets a reward from this, an award, rather. They don't want that to happen. So there's a good chance that Barry's going to be in there for quite a while. Isn't that funny the way things work out? Karma is a bitch, isn't it? It really is. Barry said, I never want to go to Victimhood. You're never going to get me to Victimhood. Guess where he is? You got it right. He's in Victimhood. Isn't it funny the way things work? And they all said they had a resolution. They all had 5 copies of a resolution. Another lie. Another lie. But that's all they do is lie on here. In other words, when you're looking bad, you want to make somebody else look bad. You want to find fault with somebody. Then when you can't find any more fault, the logical avenue they follow is to create fault. Tell lies, make up stories that have no validity whatsoever in the reality. That's what they do. And if you haven't been able to figure it out by now, maybe you have. And what would he be in jail for? His mouth, probably. That's what gets everybody in trouble. Yeah, I think, because my girlfriend's been kind of ragging on me lately. She told me, take care of business, Frank, is what she told me in exact words. She says, you've been on YouTube a long time. Do you really want to associate yourself? And she had a, what's the word in her language she used? I can't think of it. But in other words, they were idiots. He said, why do you want to put yourself out there? You're not making money, Frank, so why do you stay on? You're doing good with your exercise and stuff. Continue with that. Go down a good path, in her own words. Nah, it's too crazy. It's too crazy. Somebody's going to get hurt or killed on here or something by somebody, or just they're all going to kill each other. I used to joke around all the time is that these people all should get together in a field somewhere and all carry baseball bats and beat the shit out of each other and tell each other how they really feel. None of the high rollers are going to ever help Mantis. Well, I'm doubting it, but you never know. I don't care either way whether they help him or not. As long as it puts food on my table. Fact is, Barry owes. It's court ordered. You can't change that. You can't change that. He'll be in there as long as it takes for him to actually pay off all his dues, and that applies to anyone else. He's not being disfavored or anything like that. I mean, it's just the way it is. There's a court order on that. He's a convict now. Convict doesn't mean that you're sent to prison. He pleaded guilty on 5 separate charges. 5, not 1. If it was 1 charge, he would have got away with a $50,000 fine. But he had 5, henceforth $250,000. $250,000 to the court, for their time, 250,000 to me in damages, and everything else he's got to pay. See how this works out? Frank, was that a photo of you with gray hair edited? I don't know. There's so many photos of me out there that are edited, I couldn't tell you. I really don't know which one you're referring to. There's so many photos they put out of me. They edit them. I'll tell you what, for somebody my age, and believe me, the last thing I am, it's one thing I'm not is, I mean, I'm highly critical of myself. I've always said that. I'm one of my biggest critics, but, I don't go around looking in the mirror saying, oh, how handsome I am or something like that. That's not me. I could say that for my age, I'm not looking that bad. And it's not just me, because I know a lot of people that said that to me. They said, you look in pretty good shape for a guy your age. I hear it all the time. When new people I meet, I'm kind of bullshitting with a foreigner downtown. It's about as far as I go, I'm nice to foreigners. I'm very nice to foreigners, but it's hello, goodbye. We have a little chat about this and that. It might last up to 15 minutes. It might be a few minutes or whatever, but I've had the same response to just about everyone I met where anything like that came up about age. Only situations where age came up, but it was the same response every time. You look pretty good for your age, dude. I said, well, thank you. I like to hear that. And I'm doing things to make that happen, but if you look at all the clowns on here, you know what they look like. You know what Popeye looks like. You know what Don C looks like. You know the rest of them, you know what they look like. Not exactly handsome men. A lot of them are overweight, horrible eating habits. They all drink, every one of them. My lips don't touch liquor. They never will. One habit is enough for me, pal. One habit is enough for me. But even so, I'm still healthier. Even though I smoke, I'm still healthier than the whole brood. I do get tested every now and again. And all the numbers are looking pretty good so far. Knock on wood. So far, so good. So I really don't have a lot to complain about, really. But you see, that's the problem within on YouTube. And a lot of them think that the money they have is a solver of all their problems, but that's so far from the truth. It's so far from the truth. When you got a lot of money, and you're dating I don't care who you are, really, and you're dating a less than average Filipino, and then she becomes dependent on you for money, she's going to take your ass to the cleaners. And this has happened. We know it's happened with numerous people on YouTube, actually. They'll take you to the cleaners. We hear all these stories all the time. They're real stories told by real people, actually, who've been interviewed. Real people telling real stories. And the rest becomes very obvious when they start reading their Facebook pages and stuff like that. And they come out and talk about their own wife and how that wife was taking them for money. You've heard it. Don't have to mention no names on here. You've all heard it. That's all I can tell you. You all heard it. That's my point. So when they point their fingers at me, I'm this and I'm that, I'm this. Well, it's actually the opposite. And that's why they're upset. Even though I don't have 100,000 plus viewers, subscribers, anything like that, I'm actually, if you think about it, one of the more successful shows on here that's lasted a decade. Nobody's ever chased me off YouTube. It's never happened. It never happened. I've always said, when I'm ready to get off, I will get off. I've never been chased off YouTube. In fact, I'd be happy if somebody struck me out. I actually have 2 strikes on my channel right now. I'll tell you openly to everyone, I got 2 strikes. And a lot of them had, there was copyright, some serious copyright strikes I had, actually. And using somebody's photo. One more strike, I'm out anyway. And I've always said, strike me out. Please do. You'd be doing me a fucking favor. You actually would be. But you don't have to do me that favor. I'll do it voluntarily. Not a problem. But I think it's really come down to a point, and my girlfriend hasn't ragged on me for a while with YouTube. She knows I'm on it all the time. She just kind of gives that look to me, oh, you're on YouTube again. She don't yell at me or anything like that. She just do it. She lets you do what I want to do. If I want to do it, I do it anyway. But it's never stopped me, no matter what she thinks. But sometimes you got to listen. Sometimes you have to listen. Ah,
No.
yeah, it was real hot out there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You came back pretty sweaty. Well, I'm glad I didn't go with you then, because I would have been a sweaty mess. I would have been a real sweaty mess. What? There's a fly that keeps on bothering me. Once you get that fly, did you get him? Got a pesky fly around here. Which reminds me of a funny story, and I think I've told this years ago. And I was traveling across the Southwest, and it was real funny because in the restrooms of some of these restaurants, you always find these vending machines in there. Sometimes they sell rubbers and whatever. The vending machines were really popular.
Just a little naman lang na.
You got to put more water in that. Yeah, it's still good. The lemons are probably still good, I think. Anyway, the story is that they had this vending machine. It was called Mexican Fly. Now, if you don't know what that was, and this was funny too. Mexican Fly was known to be something that was kind of an irritant to some woman's vaginal area if she drank this or something like that. I don't know how it came in a powder. I'm not sure how it came. But the funny thing about this, I said, I've been seeing these things all over the place. What is this Mexican Fly shit? I heard about something that they call Mexican Fly. And out comes a kind of a piece of cardboard with a picture of a fly with a sombrero hat on. And I laughed my ass off. He had to be there. He had to be there. They weren't lying. It was legitimate, a legitimate vending machine. They were not lying. You're paying that quarter for a Mexican fly. It comes out a little cardboard picture of a fly with a sombrero on. I'm not shitting you. I can't make this. I could make this stuff up, but I'm not. I thought that was funnier than shit. I don't know. Apparently, there's something that exists out here that they call Mexican fly. That if a woman consumes it, it becomes like an irritant to her vagina or something. And she's got to have something in it or something. There's a whole idea behind that or something, so she'll screw you. Just something that some of these women that took it were even screwing the stick shifts in a car. Did you ever hear those stories in the past? I used to hear them. I thought it was funny than shit. It had to be there, really. It's one of those things. Mexican fly. Of all the people that are happy out here, this is a funny story too. MJ the Flipper, he got his wife to come to the United States. And yes, Sean the Sheep, Jay still lives with his mama. He sure does. Anyway, where was I? On a roll here. Oh my. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. My train of thought just disappeared. I was reading my comments on here. Could have been that important. But, when you examine their lives, oh, I was talking about MJ the Flipper. We have our little thing back and forth here and there, but MJ the Flipper, I'm not going to say he has the best looking wife in the world. It don't really matter. She's better than most of the people, girlfriends or wives that I've seen on here. I'll give him credit. But MJ got his wife got her to come out there finally, and he's living, he's living a decent life. She's not running away from him, and it doesn't seem that she has any plans to do so. They used to attack MJ to Flipper all the time, but of all the people on there, other than myself, stoner and all that shit. But other than that, I don't know how he's living, to be honest with you. Some people say he's living off the welfare system or something. I don't know how he's living. But, he made things work for him, and he's got his lady out there with him. And it doesn't look like she has any plans to leave him and go back to the Philippines. Nothing like that. But yeah, he still lives with his mommy. Yeah, turn that thing on. It really is humid in here, man. Yeah, put it on 20, put it down 1 degree.
56.
That fly is still flying on me like crazy, on my phone too. Well, flies don't have a long life anyway. I'll just do him a favor. Get that mofo. If you have to hit me, hit me. Hit me hard.
Hit me hard.
Don't give me a hot attack. Hot attack. Oh, he's been flying on me. They go for the sweat or something. No. They're fast. You see their eyes, they see all over. Multifaceted type of eyes, They see all around them. You think you got them, but you can't find them. No, you probably missed them. Didn't get them that time. Get the frogs in there. They'll go for those flies.
No frogs na.
No, I haven't seen any. That's because everything else is damp from the rains, and they don't have to show up at that spot anymore. Not for now, anyway.
Ay, patay lang ibe.
Sam the sheep.
Die.
What?
The flies.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
You got that bastard. She's a good hunter, man. Oh. Well, get rid of them, because otherwise the ants will come and eat them up too. Most of these 40-year-old bums do not work. A lot of him, MJ himself, I heard something about that. He could be living on the welfare. He might have mentioned himself or something, maybe in jest or something. I'm not sure. He might. But I still have to give one up to MJ because his lady's with him. And she went out of her way. She came to the United States to be with him. And I haven't heard of any problems. The way he talks and everything, I've seen her on there. She seems to be happy to be with him. So MJ has won over most of these people on here. And the good thing about MJ, he's not afraid to say what's on his mind about people either. He really isn't. I'll give him that credit. Like I have all the years.
Put in your drawer.
Oh, the Clippers, yeah. Got to keep an eye on them. Well, it is 7:57.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know, sure, folks. This could be a historic show tonight. Voluntarily. Because what did you tell me to do, Gilda?
Uh-huh.
What did you tell me to do about YouTube? Tell them. What did you tell me to do about YouTube? Take it here. I'm actually broadcasting right now.
Oh.
Tell them what you said.
What the topic you mentioned for now? Because I'm not listening. But
No, there's something you told me to do about YouTube, whether to stay on or get off. And you were ragging on me about getting off YouTube.
yeah, I asked Frank before off YouTube, but people still talking about him.
Well, see, that's the thing. It doesn't really bother me that they're talking about me. What I think is actually very entertaining is that they can't think to find any wrong with me, so they have to make up stuff about me. And that's how bad it's got. They even have shows named after me, and they actually record my shows. And every time they come on a troll show, I'm like the biggest topic on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's a lot of AI, and then even your words you see the cat, and then they put something.
Well, it's called editing. Yeah, they do editing.
editing. So that's why.
Yeah. You're the boss, Frank. You decide. I know. No, we've talked about this ever since I've ever been on YouTube, and we've been together, actually. It's been a long time I've been on here. And then I'm also getting bored because even if I want to be entertained by the trolls and I go to their channel, there's nothing new that they talk about. Now it's gotten to a desperation point where they actually have to make up things about me because they ran out of things to talk about. Do you think it's reality on all the things they blame me for and said I did or said or whatever? You think that's a reality? It's so far from the truth. But when you run out of material, you're never going to be a stand-up comic if you run out of material. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
They'll boo you off the stage.
They always talk about you because
Well, Gilda is
there's
jealous of us. You're a
movies.
beautiful woman, and you're not old, and you're kept yourself together. You're highly photogenic. You're a kind, loving, caring woman, and I'm lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have you.
Yeah, you're so lucky you have me. Then, but somebody said I have a
Are you lucky to have me?
yes.
There you go.
You're so lucky, and I'm so lucky also to have you.
Well, we found each other, babe. It's you, babe, and everything about you. Big Kevin is fishing for drama and donos to save you money. You made a mistake from the beginning. I said he should have stayed in his aunt's basement. He was doing so much better then. The only good thing that happened with Big Kevin is that his doctor told him that he had to lose weight, and he was taking certain medications to help with his weight. Then he had trouble with his knees, trouble with this, trouble with that. He's on medicines. And don't listen to him. He says he's not taking any more high blood meds and all that stuff. That's nonsense. He's still twice the size of any average man. You know, he lost a lot of weight, though. He lost the weight of two average men. He shed that much, and I got to give him credit for that. Whether it's doctor assisted medicine, whatever, that's the only credit I'm going to give Big Kevin. That's the only credit. That his doctor got on his ass. But it wasn't that either. He couldn't even walk to that little lake that he lived near his aunt's house. He lived in his basement, isolated from the world. And he'd buy all these toys and green screens and things that make noise and light up. Well, when he got that bolo knife in his brain, it really affected him in a way where he has the emotional grade of like a 6 or 7 year old. And that's part of the reason he can't find any women. It's not that he's like this really good looking guy, because he's really not. He's really not. No matter how much weight he loses. There's there's a vulnerability that Kevin has. And they see it when they see him. There's a certain vulnerability. And he got so lonely that I know he probably cried himself to sleep a few times. Because it wasn't happening. He sees himself getting old. He's like 62 now or something. He sees himself getting older, and nothing's changed in his life except some of the weight loss he had. That's the only thing that's changed, other than, moving out of Kentucky. That was it. That's the only changes he made in his life. But the likeliness, I'm not saying it's totally impossible. It's according to who the girl is. But the likelihood that he's going to find a real mate that he'd have to pay for by buying drinks and for companionship, I don't see that happening. I mean, I wish him the best that he finds somebody that's compatible to him, but I honestly don't see that happening because the guy's a creep. And I'm not just talking about externally. The guy's just a creep. He's an evil bastard. He's an antagonist. He runs that show, but as stupid as he is, as brain dead as he is, the guy has one talent. He knows how to round up all the trolls on his show to get donations, to get people to feel sorry for him, like Barry did a lot. Oh, I'm out of food here. But prior to him saying that, he forgot that he said he just ate a big meal from Grab. Well, I'm down to my last 400 pesos. You guys need to replenish my wallet so I can buy my Mighty Whites and my booze. And so many of you people just gave in to him. It's so fucking funny. I look back and I say, these fools. These fools who gave Barry any money at all, and who would continue to give it to anything today. Now, of course, some of them would want to indoctrinate his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend into their little harem or something, you know. They're going to look for the most vulnerable chick. And right now, she's pretty vulnerable. She's pretty vulnerable. She knows that she'll never be able to see Barry again. She knows that. She knows that 100%. So she'll call people on the phone, please help me. We got to get him out of jail. Well, I don't know. Last I checked, he's still there. He's still there. And they want to get him out. They get him out. I don't care either way. It's going to benefit me one way or the other. It's already benefited me without any monetary kickback to me. The fact is, he spent a couple of years off the streets where he belonged. That was a hell of an accomplishment. That was a hell of a good accomplishment. I pride myself on that. I made him eat every fucking word that he said about me and more. That was quite an accomplishment. Why did CW give big money? I don't know. Maybe they had sex on camera or something. Who knows? Maybe the guy was gay. I don't know anything about the guy. Except that he's making good money in UAE, whatever, United Arab Republic. Whatever he's doing out there. He was, and he realized what a fool he was after he gave him that money. Because later on, Barry went on the attack of him. And CW was pissed at him, but then I don't know. I think CW is still talking to him. I don't know why. Might even be helping him for all I know. But I'm sure CW felt like a total fool when he gave Barry that $50K. Barry was going to have a heart attack when he found out he got $50K from CW. And what did he say? As stupid as Barry is, stupid is, stupid does. Thank you for that 50,000 pesos, CW. I mean it from my heart. With that money, I can pay off the prosecutor so Frank doesn't get a case against me. Well, it didn't work out very well. If he tried to bribe any prosecutors, it didn't work at the time because he did get a case against him after all. So who said that Frank does not win on here? I've been winning since I've been on YouTube. All the way. They just can't handle it. And that's why it is so mean and honorary to me on here. They get niffed and they want to get back at you in any way that they possibly can. They'll make up things about what you supposedly did to people in your life when you never did that. They'll even support some woman that puts a phony report in that totally invalid, total perjury. Back her up. Desperate sometimes. There's not one person who's won anything against me, no matter what they tried. The fight ain't over yet. And we'll see what happens with that complaint, won't we? Like I said, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And she's going to sing pretty goddamn loud. We'll see where that goes, won't we? There's always a way out of Dodge City. And I don't mean by plane or boat. Just get good lawyers. And when they make the individual to be out to be the liar that they are, it doesn't look good for them at that moment. And could be some legal liabilities coming their way too. Something that they have to think about. Then they start to say to themselves, oh, I knew I shouldn't have got involved with this, but I was pushed and coerced. They were offering me money to do this. Yeah, she made some money on this. Of course she did. Of course she did. She didn't want to get involved in Barry's affairs, but when money came into the picture, well, that was a different story. Okay, I'll go for that as long as you pay for the lawyer. And they did. Because she wasn't paying that out of her pocket. You know that, and I know that. We don't have, it's not, no. The face only a mother can love, and maybe not even so. I should do some Rodney stuff. I really should. The face only a mother can love, and maybe not. He looks like a fucking penis with a painted goatee, painted with charcoal or shoe polish or something, or cigarette ashes. He used to do. I think he used to take cigarette ashes to put the color to his little attempted goatee. I think that's what he did. Because he wouldn't go out and buy any hair coloring. Anyway, I got to wind up for the night, guys. This could be my last show on here. I'm having a feeling it might be. No, actually, I've been fooling around, but I really meant it. Gil was being a little bit kind to me on here. She knew I was live. She was being a little bit kind. Nah, she's had enough of it herself. And I got a birthday coming up too, and I wish I could enjoy the rest of my life. Don't want to make a whole career out of YouTube. I've been on here long enough than some people have had careers, you know. I think the time it has to come sooner or later. Besides, it's just getting too boring for me. And although I'm a person that doesn't usually have a lack of words to say, it's really actually coming down to a point. Well, it's kind of like this too. I can't seem to satisfy my audience unless I talk about the trolls. But I think I said what I can about them. And you know who they are, what they do, and what they say, and why they do it. Since you already know that, it doesn't make sense to really kind of rehash old hash. That's basically all we're doing. It's all you're doing. It's all I'm doing. It's all they're doing. Popeye's show is all the same. The same people talking about the same shit. They make a whole show about me. These are grown-ass men. Grown-ass men, well, you would think they are, behaving that way. It's amazing, man. I can't use that word enough. There's a lot of other words, but amazing is one of them. It's like, wow. These are grown-up men acting like little children that can't get their way, and they're having temper tantrums. Literally, not figuratively, they're having temper tantrums. They really are. There's nothing wrong with my life. So what if I don't talk to my daughter? Oh, well, I mean, it is what it is. It's none of their business. It's our business. She's happy with her situation. She has a life. She has kids. I got my family here. I'm good with it. I can't force people to do what they don't want to do. I can't do that. And I won't do that. That's it. I've got a life out here. I got a woman that I'm in love with that's been good to me, and I've been great to her. Got a home? Sure do. Not a bad home either. I've seen some of the homes, some of these people living in the shacks in the Philippines. This is a mansion compared to some of the homes you're living in. That's a fact. It's a mansion in comparison to some of these places they're living in. And a lot of the big mouths don't even own their own home in the country they're in, whether it's Thailand or whether it's in the Philippines. They don't even own their own home. But we do. And I said we. Plural, I said we. It is my home. My name is on here. It is my home. Technically, it's hers. But it's the two people that make it a home. If she wasn't interested in me, was just after my money, let's face the reality. She'd be long gone. Or she'd have me long gone. Not being the case, apparently we got a great relationship. It's not like I'm the ATM that they like to say. That's so far from the truth. So far from the truth. You just have to know our situation here. People think I'm just living on 1,400 and what is it? What's a little under 15? They think that's all I'm living on out here. That's so far from the truth. What do you think I get money to buy all this, dude? $1,500 a month. I could do it on $1,500 a month. And most of the time, I was actually doing it on less than $1,500 a month. I was. Fine, perfectly fine. No problem. No problem. The secret is having backup money. But there's a bigger secret than that, which is really no secret, but I keep things secret sometimes. We have other sources of money coming in here. We have other sources. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what they are, but we have other sources of money. Forget the $1,500 a month. I can't tell you everything, folks, but that's why I laugh all the time when they say Frank is broke. I don't know. How do I afford these workers? How do I afford to buy this? How do I afford to buy that? How do I afford to go out and buy them? And the kids, I bought them for the kid himself. I bought an electric bike for him. How do I afford to do that if I'm broke? I'd like to know. I must be doing something right. And that's why I laugh at all this. They don't know what's in my bank. Get to 500,000. You can't have just one bank account out here. You got to have many if you want your money to be secure, because you'll just never know when a situation could happen out here, some disaster. It's like the FDIC equivalent. You can't keep it all in one bank. So keep that in mind if you happen to live out here and you are worth more than 500,000 pesos. Keep that in mind. You may want to. You may really want to. They've said the stupidest things on here. It's not my house in Hawaii. I never sold it, or it was my brother's house. Well, no offense to my brother. My brother couldn't rub two nickels together most of his life. And I was always there for the rescue. I was a rescue rooter, man. No, my brother only wishes he owned that house. But he had a nice house in Indiana when he was married. Boy, he fucked up on that. Whew, did he fuck up. She was a millionaire. She had parcels of land she did a sharecropping thing with. Her parents had a lot of money. When they died, she got all their money and land. She had her own. She inherited. She had her own farm and a tractor supply company. He was doing pretty good. And they got divorced. I said, what did you do? What did you do? He could have had half the house, half for business, everything. He really fucked up. He just really fucked up. Big time. But you know what? That was for the good. Because my brother was like Snicko. Snicko got into the drugs and all that shit. He talks about being a big family man. He wasn't family man back then when Snicko had his drug days. And he wasn't then. His mama raised the kids, or somebody else did. Now the kids are grown up. They're all buddies now, but he wasn't there for his kids. No, he wasn't. Don't listen to the bullshit he says. He was out of his children's life. That's a fact. I heard his stories in the past. I have a good memory. It's not as bad as you think it is. I pay attention to what I listen to on here. And there's certain key words and phrases and statements and stuff that I never forget. I never forget. If I haven't recorded it already. His life was not great. He got into all kinds of drugs and shit. He still drinks like a fish. And he thinks he's better than me. In what way? I'm still trying to figure out in what way he's better than me. He got blown up for an IED. He's got a better life than me. Along and he can't get one? And his life is better than mine? Really? Okay. With that being said, take care, folks. I don't care if you kill each other out there. Just go and do it. You know, I suggest you all have a big get together and do what I suggested a long time ago. Everybody bring a steel baseball bat and beat the shit out of each other and tell each other how you really feel. That would be novel. That really would.